avoiding alcohol. So I fucking finished a big day of waterproofing today and went straight out to the Comedy Store to fucking open for my man, David Rose, comedian. The Comedy Store in Sydney have opened this side room and it's a nice little fucking room. It was very nice and Dave had the room 50% full. It was good to get out of the waterproofing world for a fucking night and do a real little time, and then just hang out at the green room and go for a fucking dinner with Dave Rose, who just got married last week. Congratulations, David Rose. I'm so fucking tired today. All week I went well. This no coffee thing is like, I can't believe the difference. Like, I was walking around for 18 months just redlining. I was angry. I was fucking snappy. I was insane. I could feel my brain being insane. And I knew it was the coffee a little bit because I was drinking so much coffee. But I didn't realize how fucking bad it was until yesterday. I'm like, I'm calm. I'm sitting there. I'm laughing. I'm enjoying myself. Like, coffee's bad. Well, at least in the dosages I was taking it. So I'm feeling much better. But last night I didn't get a good night's sleep. I have been doing good with the sleep all week. Well, not that great. I've been getting to bed on time, but my sleep has been a bit fucked. I either wake up early or wake up in the middle of the night. And I think my bed's too soft. I have a theory. I have a new theory. I think you are meant to sleep on a hard surface. It makes sense. I watched this thing the other day where they're like, when you sleep on a hard surface, you're sleeping on your skeleton. And when you're sleeping on a soft surface, you are pretty much using your muscles to stabilize yourself. And that's what it feels like. My lower back has been sore. My fucking hamstrings feel like they've been engaged all night when I wake up. And I'm like tired as fuck. So I think you do have to do that. You sleep on a hard surface. You're sleeping on your skeleton. But also, if you sleep on a hard surface, you can't really sleep on your side. I sleep on my side all the time. It fucks my shoulders, but it also fucks my breathing. So I'm always breathing through my mouth because I'm on my side. But if I was on a hard surface on my back, because I couldn't turn on my side, my head would be further back, opening the airways. Because when I was doing that first aid and CPR course the other month, you've got to fucking pull the cunt's head back to open up the airways. That's how it's meant to be. Anyway, I'm probably never going to try that. I might try it. I might just go on the floor one day and just lie on the floor. Good night and go to sleep. But chances are I won't. Maybe I'll just go a slightly harder mattress. Anyway, my eyes are closed. I'm doing this just fucking blindfolded. It's Friday. I need to crash out. I need to do a fucked up Friday. You need to listen to it. So let's just get to this week's fucked up Friday. If you have stories, you know where to go. Fucking send me some stories at boylecomedy.com section there for fucked up Fridays. Always need new stories, so get them in. Get them in now. Anyway, this week's story was sent in anonymously. Anonymously from Canada. Is this Justin Trudeau? Alright, here we go. Here it is, this week's fucked up Friday. My fateful fucked up Friday began when my mate at uni in Montreal dropped a tab of acid off for me, then biked away. It was 8 a.m. and I was home alone. I chewed the tab and went to chill in my room. I was 18 years old and had just left home to live in the big city. I was eager to take on new experiences. What better way than a huge dose of LSD? And what better setting than at the university where the CIA dosed unsuspecting patients without their consent in the 1960s. I had no idea what to expect, as this was the first time I had ever taken drugs, other than smoking weed once. That's a big step up. That's like going from, well, it's like going from smoking weed to taking acid. There's a few things that could be done in between. Shit started to get real when I noticed the walls were completely melting. I looked over at my bike and noticed the handlebars looked like a sheep's horn. I suddenly became convinced that my furniture was alive. What the fuck? I used to do DMT a lot at my mate Kel's house, and the place where I would sort of go under was directly under this fucking air conditioning unit on his wall. And as I was going under, every single time it sort of sprung to life like it was an actual conscious being. And I still believe it is in some way. I'm not too sure what way. Anyway, I know what you're talking about. I was higher than I even thought possible. And somehow, this was only the first wave. As the first wave subsided, I thought, holy fuck, that was insane, but at least I could see my surroundings again. I decided it was time to go for a walk outside. I emerged into a cold but sunny winter's day in the plateau of Montreal, an artsy, dreamy neighborhood nestled at the foot of Mount Royal. I looked up and the mountain loomed over me. The iconic cross overlooking the city, a sign of my impending ego death. I stepped outside and almost immediately regretted it. A lady with a stroller asked me for directions. Fuck that bitch. Can't she see you're having problems? Can't she see you're struggling? Who sent her? There's always that cunt on fucking acid. There's always a curveball that doesn't. Who asked for directions ever? Someone's sending these characters towards you whenever you fucking get high on acid. Some random thing will happen. So the lady with the stroller asked me for directions, but I couldn't answer. I just stared at her blankly for a minute and walked away. Yeah, you were trying to work out where the fuck that character came from. I continued my journey from the plateau to Mount Royal, a scenic mountain trail in the middle of downtown, but as I walked, all of a sudden the trees were melting. This was the second wave. My visuals were again in and out, and I was suddenly aware of everyone watching me. I stepped off the sidewalk to check a tree to my right. The patterns in the tree bark were shifting and moving like fire. I stared at the tree for what felt like an eternity, my mouth wide open, going, whoa. After what seemed like an eternity, I finally snapped out of my daze and continued my walk. Okay, I thought, as long as I can ride out these waves, I should be okay. The problem was, I was about 2 hours in and had no idea when the peak would be. How did you even know there was going to be peaks after this? That's usually what fucks people up. They have a real heavy fucking spike and they're like, all right, thank God it's over. I get to relax now. And then 10 minutes later, it's even worse than it was before. And then it cools off and you're like, all right, now I get to relax. And then it kicks on a little bit more. And then you're like, when the fuck is this going to end? It's just getting worse. Fuck. All around me, joggers were going by, but something was off. I could see the path that their feet and arms traced as they ran. It was like they had neon lights tracer that remained behind like a long exposure. The good runners were leaving beautiful trails of geometric light, but those with poor running form were so jarring and left completely asymmetrical trails. I finally reached the top of the mountain. I decided to go into the building to use the public restrooms, which were in the basement. But this is where things took a turn for the worse. I reached the basement and my chest tightened. The flickering green lights cast long twitchy shadows. My breath was shallow. I couldn't tell if the hum of the fluorescent bulbs was coming from above me or inside me. I stumbled backwards, certain the walls were closing in. Was this a prison? Was I in MK Ultra? I turned and sprinted out of the building, barely noticing the startled people around me. As I walked down the mountain, I had an epiphany. I realized that acid was enhancing my perception, but it wasn't revealing some deeper truth. It was just jamming a lifetime of visual experience into a single day, and I didn't need that. I did not fucking need that. It was too much. Gratitude, not intensity. That's what I really needed. I swore I would never take acid again. This experience was traumatizing and changed me. I remember having acid flashbacks for months. I realized that chasing experiences isn't everything in life. All I need is gratitude for the experiences I have. I've never taken acid again, but I have had mushrooms once, which was all right. Well, if you analyze that story a little closer, the acid did teach you a little bit more than just the light experience. It seems to have taught you don't need to go chasing experiences and just have some gratitude. So its work there is done. That's all you need. If I was to do the acid thing again, I'd probably only take it maybe 4 times. I think you get everything you need out of acid after probably 2, but knowing myself, I would need the 3rd one just to make sure, and I would need the 4th one just to have like a really bad trip to make me stop checking, to make me very, very sure. Anyway, that'll do for tonight. Anyway, thanks for the story. That'll do for tonight. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you the fuck later.